Alright, so in this video clip we're going to glue together the tail kind of empennage assembly here. The really pointy part of these triangles kind of can be a little bit flaky, just the foam melts away and the paper's kind of there. You might want to trim that off at some point. It just kind of gets in the way and makes things a little bit harder when you're gluing things together. But if you leave it on too, it doesn't really matter. So what we're going to be doing right now is going to be attaching the tail, or I should say the elevator horizontal stabilizer, to the tail empennage assembly here. So these two triangles are going to go in here like so. It's going to end up something like that. Okay, of course not as wobbly. And this is going to mean basically two glue joints, one for each of these triangles to attach them here. And again, we're using the smaller slots on the triangles is where the elevator horizontal stabilizer goes. These larger slots will be when you attach this assembly to the plane in a later video. Okay, so what I'm going to do, let's do one at a time. I'm going to make this camera a little bit bigger here. Okay, I'm going to kind of show you on the side of the table one way you can do it. The tricky part is once you place these together, okay, it's pretty wobbly still. We don't want to glue it with it at a weird angle. So what I found is if I take this to the edge of the table, I'm going to place it there so I can hold this nice and straight vertically, and I can bring it down until the horizontal is on the top of the table, and that keeps them both kind of flat at a 90 to each other. And just let it glue like that. And then do the same thing with the other side. So since these slide together, I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of glue on here to tack it and get it in place. And then afterwards, I'll run some glue down the seams, and you'll be able to see how that helps a little bit here on the other plane. Let's see, right in here. Okay, like a little seam glue right there. So I glued this in place, and then I ran some glue down the edge and kind of squeegeed it off to give a nice kind of glue fillet, we'll say, along the edge of the plane there. All right. So let's go ahead. We see where it lines up. So we can take the horizontal stabilizer and we can put some glue about as far back as it's going to go on both sides. So let's go about, I don't know, about an inch or so, maybe ½ inch. Okay. On one side, we're going to glue on the top and the bottom. Just a nice bead of glue there. Oops, sorry, I can't see what I'm doing on camera. Just a nice bead of glue there on both sides. Okay. You got no rush. You got plenty of time here. I'm going to place them together like this. So it kind of slides on there. All right, then I'm going to bring it to the side of the table like I showed in the earlier. And we're going to put it, let's see so you can see a little bit better. Put that flat, put that flat. We're going to hold them in place until that glue tacks. You don't need too much glue for this step because it's just going to squish out anyways. But you can kind of see as it goes there, it's going to tack it in place at a nice 90-degree angle to each other. Make sure they're not having any weird angles going on, because that'll just make things harder later on. Okay. So once that's tacked, we'll do the other side, and then I'll come back and show you those fillets, the fillet glue beads on the seams in just a second. Okay, so I'm gluing the other side now. You can kind of see it's a little bit out of frame, but I'm holding it kind of flipped over, and that's helping me to keep this at 90 to each other again, so we can have a nice good angle there. A little bit of glue is all that's needed to tack it in place. Okay. I don't want to push too hard on it to twist it there. We'll let it kind of just rest at a nice 90. Okay. And once that's tacked in place decently well, trying to glue it to the table. I did that on accident a second ago. Did too much glue squeeze out and get on the table. We're going to go ahead and do the seam. So we'll kind of run a bead of glue along here, here, the other side, here, on the same thing on the bottom. And you want to have some scrap foam handy for this, just some pieces cut out of the scrap that you had from your kit perhaps would work well. Cut some of those out. That way when we put the bead of glue down here, we can kind of just squeegee it off into a nice smooth fillet. Let's change back to the other camera view for this. I think that'll be more helpful. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take one of these kind of edges right here and put a bead of glue again, not to the very edge, to the front and back, just about a ½ inch in from where I'm actually trying to glue. And you can fold this little thing down on your glue gun if you want to give you a little bit easier way to get in there. We'll just run some glue right along here, just a small bead, doesn't need to be huge. Okay, set your glue gun down, and then take the squeegee and kind of wipe it away from the elevator in this case. Okay, and we get a nice glue bead there, and that should help that surface be stronger but not have so much glue and be so heavy. So I'm going to do that on the other side here as well. A bit of reinforcement. Okay, again, take my squeegee here and kind of run it down the seam. So we get a good seam, but not too much glue, especially on the tail. You don't want to have it be tail heavy. And I'm kind of making a mess of mine a little bit here, but hopefully you'll get a better squeegee than I did. And we'll do that on all. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4 on the other side as well. Okay, so hopefully that helps you with that. Get that tail nice and sturdy as well as aligned well and not too much glue on the tail itself because that'll make it extra heavy. Okay, so go ahead and do it on all those surfaces and we'll see you in the next video.